All right, let's just forget everything you think you know about charts for a second. Forget the lines, forget the numbers. Today, we're going to reframe the whole thing. See, we're not looking at a chart, we're looking at a battlefield, a real strategic landscape where territory is won and defended every single second. So let's really lean into this idea because it's a powerful one. Price, it's not just some random walk up and down. No, it represents territory. And this territory, it's in a constant state of war, a constant struggle for control. And like any war, it follows some very clear rules of engagement. And in this war, you've got two main armies clashing. You know them, of course. You've got the bulls, always trying to conquer higher ground, push those prices up. And then you have the bears, fighting tooth and nail to seize the lower ground, to drag prices down. Both want to conquer territory, just in completely opposite directions. Okay, so if this is a battlefield, how do you win? Well, the key to any victory is reading the map, right? And in our case, the map is defined by the strategic terrain, these fortresses and key structures that both sides are just desperately fighting to control. Let's start with the high ground. On a chart, we call this resistance, but I want you to think of it as the bear army's main fortress. It's their castle, a heavily defended spot where they can just rain down arrows on any attack from below. And on the flip side, you have the low ground. This is support. This is where the bull army digs its trenches, where they form a massive shield wall to absorb all that downward pressure and stop the bears in their tracks. Okay, listen up, because if you take away only one thing today, I want it to be this. This is the fundamental rule of engagement. Whoever is defending a structure is stronger. The defender always has the advantage. Think about it. Attacking is exhausting, it's costly, and it leaves you wide open. So let's break that down. How does this defensive advantage actually play out on the field? We'll look at it for both the bears and the bulls. All right, paint this picture in your mind. Price starts creeping up towards that resistance level. The bears, they're just chilling on the walls of their fortress. They're waiting. It's the bulls who have to charge uphill, totally exposed, burning through insane amounts of energy, while the bears just casually defend from their high ground. And just look at the pure logic here. The bears aren't chasing anyone. They're just holding their ground. It's the bulls who are spending all the energy, all the resources. And when that attack fails, and it often does, the price gets smacked back down. The bears win by doing almost nothing, just by not moving. Okay, now let's flip the entire map over. What happens when the bears attack a support level? Well, the bulls aren't panicking and chasing price down. Nope, they're locking shields, forming that wall, and they just quietly absorb every single wave of selling, just holding their ground. You see how it's a perfect mirror image of what the bears do? The bulls don't win by pushing up aggressively here. They win by being a sponge, just absorbing all that pressure, until the bears simply run out of steam. It's a battle of attrition, plain and simple. But what happens when a wall actually breaks? This is where things get really interesting and really deceptive. Because a breakthrough often isn't a victory at all. More often than not, it's a trap. So, let's talk about the anatomy of a bull trap. The bulls use this last, desperate surge of energy, and boom, they breach the resistance fortress. They all rush in, cheering, thinking they've won. But they can't hold the new ground. And that's when the bears slam the gates shut right behind them. And just like that, they're trapped, deep inside enemy territory. And it works the other way, too, with a bear trap. The bears manage to break that bull shield wall. They push the price down, but they get greedy, they overextend. And that gives the bull defenders a chance to rally, to reclaim their wall. And suddenly, the bears are the ones who are exposed, totally vulnerable to a massive reversal. So here's the bottom line on this. Just breaking through a wall, that doesn't mean you've won. Not even close. If you can't actually hold that ground and establish control, it's just a fake victory. It's a trap. Okay, so if just breaking through isn't a real win, then what is? What does an actual, undeniable victory look like on this battlefield? The only thing that counts as a real victory is a concept we call acceptance. And this is so much more than just a breakthrough. It's about taking total ownership of that new territory and proving, without a doubt, that you can hold it against anything the enemy throws at you. Think of it like a real occupation. A winning army doesn't just knock down the city wall and leave. No way. They march inside, they set up camps, they secure their supply lines. They are making a statement. This ground is ours now. They are fundamentally redrawing the map. And this is the ultimate prize. When you achieve acceptance, the very fortress you just conquered
flips and becomes your new defensive wall. That old resistance that was so hard to break, well, for the bulls, it's now their new support. The whole battlefield has shifted.
You know, when you start to see the market this way, as a battlefield, it doesn't just give you better answers, it actually changes the questions you're asking from the very beginning.
See, most people, they look at a chart and they ask a really simple question. Is it going to go up or down? They're trying to predict the future. And let's be honest, that's an exhausting game, and one you're probably going to lose.
But a strategist, someone using this battlefield model, they ask much smarter, more tactical questions. They're not trying to predict. They're assessing the current state of the fight. They're asking who's defending right now, who's attacking, who's burning all their energy, and the big one, has this territory actually been conquered, or is this just another trap?
Because it all boils down to two final, simple truths. And these are as true in war as they are in the market. One, attackers always get tired. And two, because of that, it's the defenders who are really in control of the outcome.
So my advice, stop trying to predict the future. Just stop. Instead, focus on the structure. Focus on the battlefield itself, because the structure, that's what tells you the truth. That's what reveals who's strong, who's weak, and ultimately, who is really in control.